You've tried to stop. You've promised yourself 100 times, made the list, said the prayer, gripped the wheel, and swore this time would be different. And maybe it was for a while. But the thing always comes back. The habit, the craving, the anger, the pattern you hate most in yourself. And you assumed the problem was willpower, that you just didn't try hard enough. It wasn't. The real reason it came back is something almost nobody names. Today, we name it. This is Come Follow Me. And the change clock just marks where we are in the journey. The hand has reached the very bottom, 6 o'clock. If you're new, you can follow every word right here. And if you've walked the clock with us, you know how far down we've come. We started at the heat, the pressure that reveals what's already inside. We grew through the thorns. We found the inclined heart already leaning before we noticed. We met the brother, allergic to grace, and the 2 lies we believe every day. And then we spent 3 long sessions in the dark, naming our idols and watching what they do to us. It got heavy. You've probably been wondering when it gets better. It gets better right now, because at 6 o'clock the whole story turns. And I'm going to say something that sounds insane in a series about idolatry. Your idols don't matter. I know how that lands after everything we've named. Stay with me, because by the end you'll see why it might be the most freeing sentence in this whole series. Not because idols are harmless, but because the fight was never to be you alone versus the idol, gritting your teeth in the dark. There is a third thing in the room, and it changes all. Jesus once told a short, strange story. A spirit leaves a man and wanders, looking for somewhere to rest. Finding nowhere, it decides to go home. And when it gets back, it finds the house swept clean, tidy, and empty. So it brings 7 spirits more evil than itself, and they all move in. And the last state of that person is worse than the first. And that should make you think. You can clean your life up, you can force a habit into submission and remove it completely, but if nothing comes in to take its place, something else will. Empty space never stays empty. It's why people who finally conquer one bad habit so often end up worse than before. They won the fight with willpower and left the room empty. But the room never stays empty for long. Quit the scrolling, and the anxiety moves in. Drop the drink, and a cold anger takes its chair. Beat one vice, and a prouder one slips through the door while you're still congratulating yourself. The house was never really the problem. The emptiness was. So, what's supposed to fill that space? Hold that question, because first, I want to tell you how to trap a baboon. You dig a hole that has an opening just big enough to squeeze your hand into. Inside the hole, where it is larger than the opening, you drop a treat at the bottom. The baboon reaches in, grabs the treat, wraps its fist around it, and now it's stuck, because the hole's opening is too small for a closed hand. It could let go and walk away, and be free at any moment. It won't. It holds on while the trap closes and while the danger comes. You know what that sounds like. You've been that baboon. So have I. We grip the treasure even when the treasure is the trap. So, how do you actually free a baboon? Not by prying its hand open, not by lecturing it about holes. You offer it something better, something so good the treat in the hole suddenly looks like nothing, and the hand opens on its own. 200 years ago, a Scottish preacher figured this out. His name was Thomas Chalmers, and he spent his life watching people try to change and fail. He wrote it down in a little essay with a big title, The Expulsive Power of a New Affection. An affection is just a love, the thing your heart runs toward when no one is watching. And Chalmers noticed something simple and enormous. The human heart is always full. You cannot empty it. You can try to force a love out with discipline and gritted teeth, but the heart doesn't work that way. It doesn't empty. It trades. An old love is never simply removed, it's expelled, driven out by a stronger one that fills the heart so completely there's no room left for it. So write this down. You don't change by emptying your heart. You change by giving it something better to love. That is why so much of what we call willpower quietly fails. Discipline can empty a room. It can't fill one. You can force a love into silence for a while, but a starving heart always goes looking, and it will take the old love back or find a worse one. The only thing that ever truly displaces a love is a greater love. So, what does "your idols don't matter" really mean? Not that the damage isn't real. Idols wreck real lives. It means they were never the main problem, and willpower against them was never going to be the cure. Every session so far has been the hard half of the truth. You are worse than you thought. This is the other half, the half that turns everything. You are far more loved than you ever dared imagine. Paul says it in Romans 5, where sin increased, grace abounded all the more. Romans 5:20. Not just grace enough to break even, more, always more. Jerry Bridges put it like this: your worst days are never so bad that you are beyond the reach of God's grace, and your best days are never so good that you are beyond the need of it. Your worst days still not beyond reach, and when that lands, really lands, the idols begin to loosen. Not because you finally tried hard enough, because something better finally arrived. Let that sit for a moment. The thing you fought in the dark for years, what if you were never meant to win it by force? What if you were meant to be outloved? To wake up some ordinary morning and notice the grip had gone quietly slack, not because you got strong, but because you finally felt how loved you are. Think about Disney World for a second. The happiest place on earth, they call it. But you always come home. The magic fades. The ordinary life returns, because the joy was never going to live in the ride. The gospel makes a different kind of promise, not a place you visit, a love that moves in and stays. Chalmers saw it clearly. We don't cling to our idols because we are uniquely broken. We cling because we haven't found something better. But when the better love arrives, when it settles into the heart like dawn filling a dark room, the old things loosen on their own, not shoved out, crowded out by the light. This isn't self-improvement. It isn't try-harder religion. This is grace doing what only grace can do. We're at the turn now. The long descent is over, and the climb has started. Next time, we look at what it means to dance with grace, to actually live inside this new love, instead of just understanding it. John Bunyan wrote about a man named Christian who left the city of destruction with a burden so heavy it nearly bent him double. He didn't pry it off by trying harder. He walked toward the one place it could be lifted, and when he reached it, the burden rolled off his back on its own and tumbled away. That is where this road leads. You were never going to force your way to freedom. You were going to be loved out of the hole, your hand opening, at last, all on its own. This is episode 10 of Come Follow Me, a series on why real change is so rare and why grace is the one thing the proud heart can neither earn nor live without. Come and follow.